Okay, we're back out here in Fleet, and we're going to be pulling the DPFE off of this Ford Ranger here, which is located right here. We're going to be pulling that guy off and doing some testing on it.
So these Fords were known to have a common issue with the DPFE sensor, and we would like to test it, but unfortunately this Ranger doesn't run, so we're just going to pull it off and bench test it for y'all. But yep, it's got 2 bolts right there and a connector right here that, well, keep it off.
Okay, we have the DPFE removed, and side note, if you come over here, you can see the EGR valve coming off the exhaust manifold. Okay, here we have a wiring diagram pulled up for the DPFE sensor. The bottom wire is our signal wire, the middle is ground, and then the top is our 5-volt reference.
So here we have the DPFE sensor off, and we're checking the resistance on it, and it's about 53 kilo ohms. Also, I'd like to note that these cast ones were poorly designed, and you can see there's a ton of corrosion buildup. And that Ranger we pulled it off of only had 34,000 miles. So if you wanted a reference for how terrible these things were. This DPFE sensor we have, we pulled out of the vehicle because the vehicle did not run. And we kind of had it set up where if we had a 5-volt reference here so we could see if we could test it. And the sensor is getting 5 volts, but after multiple trial and error tests and trying to figure out how to properly see if the sensor is functioning, we found out that even with a vacuum test that the sensor was only reading about half a volt. So we have concluded that this sensor probably was not functioning properly.
Now we're working on a 2005 Suzuki Verona with a linear EGR system. If you come over here, easy to identify components. We have the EGR valve itself with a 5-pin connector coming out of it, and you can see the transfer tube right there that leads to it from the exhaust manifold.
So here's the EGR on this 2005 Suzuki Verona, and we found that this wire was ground after checking the voltage at each pin, and when we supply the ground, you will see it'll kill the car. So we have our power wire back probed, and you can see the second wire, when we back probe it, we get about 12.5 volts. Then our green and white wire. We get about 12.5 volts. Our blue and black wire, about 12.4 volts. And then our ground, 12.4 volts. Alright. So this is just a quick little screen grab. Chase and I are over here working on the 1995 Club Jeep for SIU, and as you can see, this is just temporary repair, but the CCV was cracked and disconnected, and then the PCV hose right here was completely dry rotted, and actually the grommet is completely hard and doesn't want to come off. It should have a consistency like that, but that went all the way over to here, and if we had the vehicle running and you put your finger over this, you could feel it pulling vacuum.
Okay, we're out here in the parking lot now talking about PCV systems, and we're on Dylan's 4Runner. He's just pulled out his PCV. That's what it looks like. And as you can see, it still shakes.
Also, it is a little bit oily, and the hose that goes into my intake manifold is a little cracked up and dry rotted, so. But that is due to age. This is the original PCV valve in my vehicle, and it goes right into there. So, with the PCV valve disconnected from my valve cover, we can check the vacuum on it, and you can't really hear it or feel it, but you can feel that check ball moving. And also, you can see when we take it off, it runs like crap. And then we put this hose, plug this hose, and it runs better.
Okay, so now we're looking at the PCV valve on my Honda CRX. As you can see, it attaches to this little bracket here on the intake manifold. And I've already got it pulled out here. It goes into this little hose here that runs back down to the crankcase, comes up along here and to this little port on the intake manifold. And of course, this is a replaced PCV valve, so it shakes. Alright, I'm now doing the same test we did on Dylan's 4Runner. The PCV valve is operating, and there's a loud clicking sound coming from it. And you can really feel it as well.